Hi there, these comments are for AO, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for OTC, OnlineTOEFLCourse.com. And as always, you're working really hard, sending me speaking and writing practice almost every day. Okay, so let's take a look at the audio file that you sent me. So I think the question is, do you like busy restaurants with a lot of people, or do you prefer to go to a quiet restaurant without a lot of people? And that's kind of the question. Which do you prefer and why?
I would rather go to a quiet restaurant than a noisy one with a lot of people. And this is because I won't have to wait long to get a table. For instance, once my boyfriend and I went to a restaurant famous for his birthday, and
Okay.
there were many people, and we have to wait almost 2 hours to get a table, even when we booked the table 2 weeks in advance. Also, I prefer the restaurant with a peaceful environment and few people because I can listen to those around me. For instance, the last time that I went out with my father, I I could not hear what he was saying because there was a lot of noise around us and was hard for me hear what my father was saying, and he had to repeat twice. Therefore, I prefer the quiet restaurant rather than the noisy one with a lot of people because I can get a table and I can hear those around me. I would rather go to a
Okay, so you are actually 67, no, 77 seconds, 1 minute and 17 seconds. You need to get this down. You need to cut this by 30 seconds, right? You got to get this down to 45 seconds. So you don't have this much time on the exam, right? So I think you had some problems with what I call time management, managing your time effectively. You're trying to do a little too much. I'm going to put you between 2.5 and 3, probably around 19 to 20 points out of 30. So let's listen to it one more time, and I will give you some feedback as we
quiet
go.
restaurant than a noisy one with a lot of people. And this is because I want
I would just put I prefer a quiet restaurant rather than a restaurant with a lot of people because. Just say because, and then you create a compound sentence. And then you state your reasons in the dependent clause, and that's what you use to frame your response.
have to wait long to get a table. For instance, once my boyfriend and I went to a restaurant famous for his birthday, and there were
You want to say birthday, so you're not pronouncing that th sound.
many people, and we have to wait almost 2 hours
No, we had to wait almost 2 hours because you're talking about something in the past.
to get a table, even when we booked the table
Even when, even though, I would put even though we booked the table 2 weeks in advance.
2 weeks in advance. Also, I prefer the restaurant with a peaceful environment and few people because I can listen to those around me.
For example, and then talk about the conversation you're having difficult understanding with your father, and then why that would, and then you have to kind of end it. You only have right now, believe it or not, this is 38 seconds. You only have 7 more seconds with this
For
response.
instance, the last time that I went out with my father, I I could not
Okay, so your strategy here would be is to forget the second reason, just focus on it's difficult to book these restaurants in advance, right? So you like the quiet restaurant.
hear what he was saying because there was a lot of noise around us and was hard for me hear what my father was saying, and
I would say there was a lot of noise and it was hard for me.
he had to repeat twice.
He had to repeat twice what he was telling me.
Therefore, I prefer the quiet restaurant rather than the noisy one with a lot of people, because I can get a table and I can hear those around me.
Okay, so maybe your strategy here is maybe with one of your practice tests each week, maybe write it out, make sure it's organized, it's developed, it's grammatically correct, all of that. Make sure also it's 45 seconds. So you need to get this down about 30 seconds. That means maybe you can only talk about your first reason. Just make sure you develop that like you did, then have a short conclusion and you're done. Maybe that's your strategy on that. Okay, I'm going to put you at maybe 19 to 20 points out of 30. You still have delivery issues. You're not quite comfortable with all the vowel and the consonant sounds of American English, so you can work in some of those areas. I think is going to be important for you. All right, and thank you for doing this practice test.